Welcome to the Demonology Iceberg, where we discuss demons in the context of the Abrahamic religions. For the purpose of this video, most of these demonic entities will be discussed within the context of Christian and Jewish traditions. Also, before we get going, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out in the algorithm. Dagon, originally a prominent deity in ancient Mesopotamian and Levantine cultures, underwent a significant transformation in perception over millennia from a revered god to a demonized figure. In ancient Mesopotamia, Dagon was worshipped as a god of agriculture and fertility. His name is believed to derive from a word meaning grain, reinforcing his association with crop harvests and suggesting involvement in fertility rituals as well. Dagon's worship was widespread among the Amorites and Assyrians, with numerous personal names incorporating his, indicating his importance in their pantheon. The Philistines, a seafaring people of the ancient Near East, also revered Dagon. Biblical accounts mention temples dedicated to him in cities like Ashdod. In the Book of Judges, the Philistines celebrate a victory over Samson in a temple of Dagon, highlighting his significance in their religious practices. Over time, interpretations of Dagon's image evolved. Some traditions depicted him as a fish god, combining human and fish elements. This portrayal likely stemmed from linguistic associations between his name and the Hebrew word dag, meaning fish. However, archaeological evidence supporting this fish-like representation is limited, and most scholars argue that Dagon was primarily an agricultural deity. The demonization of Dagon began with the rise of monotheistic religions, particularly within Christian contexts. Early Christian writers often reinterpreted pagan gods as demons, aligning with their theological perspectives. This shift is evident in various texts where Dagon is portrayed not as a benign deity, but as a malevolent entity. Notably, unlike many of the other demons discussed in this video, there are no known rituals associated with summoning Dagon. Baphomet is a figure that has intrigued and perplexed scholars, historians, and occultists for centuries. Its origins, associations, and symbolism have evolved over time, leading to various interpretations and misconceptions. The term Baphomet first appeared in the 11th century during the Crusades. In 1098, French crusader Anselm of Ribemont mentioned Baphomet in a letter describing the siege of Antioch. The letter indicated that the term was used by crusaders to refer to a deity worshipped by their Muslim adversaries. Throughout the 12th and 13th centuries, the name appeared in various poems and texts, often as a reference denoting a pagan idol or as a god associated with the Near East. The most infamous association of Baphomet is with the Knights Templar, a medieval Christian military order. In 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of many Templars, accusing them of heresy, idolatry, and other charges. Under torture, some Templars confessed to worshipping an idol named Baphomet, though descriptions varied widely. Some described it as a severed head, others as a cat, and some as a head with three faces. Modern scholars generally agree that these confessions were coerced and that the charges were politically motivated. The modern image of Baphomet as a goat-headed figure stems from the 19th century. French occultist Eliphas Lévy, in his 1854 work Dogmes et rituels de la haute magie, introduced the illustration of Baphomet as the sabbatic goat. This figure combined elements of the goat, human, and other symbols to represent the union of opposites, male and female, good and evil, human and divine. Levi's Baphomet was not intended as a symbol of evil, but rather as a representation of balance and harmony. Levi's depiction of Baphomet is rich in symbolism. The goat's head represents the earthly and carnal nature of humanity. The torch between the horns symbolizes enlightenment and the pursuit of knowledge. The pentagram on the forehead denotes the association with the elements and with magic. The staff of Hermes on the demon's abdomen represents the liminal space between life and death, as well as the integration of these polarities into liminal spaces. Finally, the androgynous features represented in a single figure represents the unity of opposites. Put simply, Levi's Baphomet was a complex symbol intended to convey deep esoteric truths rather than as the representation of evil it went on to become. In the 20th century, Baphomet's image was adopted by various occult and satanic groups. The Church of Satan, founded by Anton LaVey in 1966, incorporated the sigil of Baphomet as its official insignia. This symbol features a goat's head within an inverted pentagram, surrounded by Hebrew letters spelling Leviathan. Notably, this use of Baphomet was more about embracing a symbol of rebellion against traditional religious norms, rather than worshiping an actual deity. Unlike many of the other demons discussed in this iceberg, Baphomet is, in his current form, a very modern symbol, without deep roots. Summoning Baphomet is largely a myth perpetuated by occult lore and modern media, not rooted in historical ritual practices. No verified rituals exist for summoning it, as the figure is conceptual rather than supernatural. Regardless of Baphomet's lack of occult credibility, this demon has become one of the most widely known dark entities, likely due to its association with Satanism. Andras is a formidable figure in demonology, who is said to hold the title of Great Marquis of Hell and command 30 legions of demons. He is renowned for sowing discord and inciting conflict among individuals. Depictions of Andras present him as an angelic figure with the head of a raven or owl, riding a powerful black wolf and wielding a sharp, bright sword. Andras's primary ability lies in his ability to create discord. He can instigate conflicts, leading to arguments and fights among people. This power makes him particularly dangerous, as he can cause harm not only to his targets, but also to those who summon him. Summoners are cautioned to exercise extreme care, as Andras has the capacity to slay both the conjurer and their associates. Andras can also teach and empower necromancy, mind control, shape-shifting, and the concealment of things. In interactions, Andras is known to be blunt, serious, dominant, intimidating, direct, and sometimes impatient. This demeanor necessitates that summoners approach him with caution and respect, ensuring they are well prepared and protected during any engagement. Moloch is a figure rooted in ancient Near Eastern religions, notably among the Canaanites and Phoenicians. Historically, Moloch is associated with certain abhorrent sacrificial rituals, practices vehemently condemned in the Hebrew Bible. The deity's name appears multiple times, particularly in the book of Leviticus, where such rituals are explicitly prohibited. In terms of appearance, Moloch is traditionally depicted as a colossal figure with a bull's head and a human body. This imagery aligns with the common representation of deities in the ancient Near East, where bulls symbolized strength and fertility. Some descriptions portray Moloch as a bronze or iron statue, sometimes with black stones for eyes, emphasizing his imposing and fearsome nature. The rituals associated with Moloch were particularly notorious for their brutality. Parents would offer their children as sacrifices, believing this would appease the deity and ensure prosperity. In Christian demonology, Moloch is classified as a demon, often depicted as a prince of hell. His primary role is to induce parents to sacrifice their children, perpetuating the ancient practices associated with his worship. Moloch's influence extends into literature and popular culture. In John Milton's Paradise Lost, Moloch is depicted as a fierce and warlike demon, advocating for open war against heaven. This portrayal highlights his association with violence and unyielding aggression. The term Moloch has also evolved into a metaphor representing any entity or system that demands a costly sacrifice. On the plus side, no one would ever want to worship or summon such an evil entity, right? Well, one can only hope. Oribus is recognized as a great prince of hell commanding 20 legions of demons. He is known for his unwavering honesty and loyalty, offering truthful answers about the past, present, and future. Unlike most other demons, Oribus is faithful to those who summon him, ensuring they are not deceived or tempted by other spirits. Oribus possesses the ability to bestow dignities, granting favor from both friends and foes. He can also protect individuals from the persecution of evil spirits and enemies, putting a stop to slander and gossip. His knowledge extends to divinity and the creation of the world, making him a valuable source of esoteric wisdom. In terms of appearance, Oribus is depicted as a horse that transforms into a man upon the conjurer's request. Some descriptions portray him as a black stallion bucking up with lightning, while others describe him as a small, unusual-looking dark-haired man or a boy with medium blonde ring curls. His association with horses is notable, and he is considered the patron of horses amongst demonologists. This connection to horses is further emphasized by his initial equine appearance and his ability to transform into human form, symbolizing his role in the liminal space between humanity and animals. Oribus's unique combination of honesty, loyalty, and protective abilities distinguishes him from other demonic entities we've discussed in this iceberg. Barbatos holds the rank of Duke and commands 30 legions of demons. His name is derived from the Latin word barbatus, meaning bearded, old man, or philosopher, which may reflect his wisdom and age-old knowledge. In terms of appearance, he's often depicted as an archer or hunter in the woods, accompanied by demons sounding horns before him. Barbatos possesses the power to understand and interpret the voices of animals, including the singing of birds and the barking of dogs. This ability allows him to offer insights into their behaviors, so I suppose this is one you want to summon if you're looking to start up a canine psychology practice. In addition to his communication with animals, Barbatos can reveal hidden treasures that have been concealed by magical means. He has the knowledge to uncover these secrets, making him a sought-after entity for those seeking lost or hidden wealth. Barbatos also possesses the ability to provide knowledge of past and future events. He's known for his skill in reconciling disputes between friends and those in positions of power. His diplomatic abilities make him an effective mediator, capable of restoring harmony in strained relationships. Barbatos is also often invoked by those seeking guidance in natural philosophy, particularly in studies involving herbs and their mystical or medicinal properties. His deep connection to nature and his ability to communicate with the natural world make him an invaluable guide in understanding the hidden wisdom of plants. Practitioners believe he can reveal the esoteric uses of herbs, assisting with their application in healing, alchemy, or spiritual rituals. This makes him a sought-after figure in botanical pursuits. The Grand Grimoire, also known as the Red Dragon, is one of the most infamous grimoires in occult history. Known for its association with black magic, it's said to contain powerful rituals for summoning demons and forming pacts. While some editions date the manuscript as far back as 1521 or 1522, historians argue the text is likely from the early 18th century. The text's authorship is attributed to one Antonio del Rabina, though little is known about this figure or whether he's even a historical person. Like many grimoires, it claims to have roots in the writings of King Solomon, a legendary figure often linked to magical wisdom. According to the Grand Grimoire, Antonio del Rabina wasn't actually the author of the book, but rather, he transcribed a text which was written by Solomon himself. This practice of connecting magical texts to ancient authoritative sources was common and helped establish the book's credibility. The Grand Grimoire is divided into two main sections, each detailing specific magical practices. The first section outlines the evocation of Lucifuge Rofacal, described as a high-ranking demon serving under Lucifer himself. The text provides instructions on summoning Lucifuge and negotiating a pact, often aimed at acquiring wealth or worldly power. The second section deals with the specifics of making and sealing these demonic pacts. It explains the tools, rituals, and evocations necessary for the process, emphasizing the need for strict adherence to the outlined steps. Aside from its focus on demonology, the grimoire contains a variety of spells and rituals meant to address other desires. These include rites for love, invisibility, and communicating with the dead. Each spell typically requires specific tools, such as consecrated candles, engraved symbols, and protective circles, reflecting common elements in European occult practices of the period. These spells are presented with detailed instructions, underscoring the manuscript's emphasis on precision and ritualistic discipline. While its content draws heavily from earlier grimoires, such as the Grimoire of Pope Honorius, the Grand Grimoire gained a distinct reputation. Some have referred to it as the most dangerous grimoire, a claim rooted in its bold approach to summoning demons and securing power. Notably, unlike other grimoires which dedicate significant time to protecting the magician, the Grand Grimoire dispenses with this and simply gets down to the business of raw acquisition of power. Its reputation as a manual for black magic has been both a source of fascination and controversy. The Catholic Church, for instance, has allegedly condemned it, and legends claim the original manuscript resides in the Vatican's secret archives. Occult practitioners today view it as both a practical guide and a historical artifact. Some believe its rituals and spells hold genuine power, while others see it as a symbolic or psychological tool. Still others view it as a dangerous tome which doesn't offer adequate protection for the high-level magic it has on offer. Mastema is a figure in ancient Jewish literature, particularly prominent in the Book of Jubilees. His name derives from the Hebrew word meaning hatred or hostility. In these texts, Mastema is depicted as an angel or demon who carries out God's punishments, tempts humans, and tests their faith. In the Book of Jubilees, Mastema is portrayed as the leader of the Nephilim, the offspring of the fallen angels known as the Watchers and human women. When God decides to eliminate the demons after the flood, Mastema intervenes, requesting permission to retain and control a tenth of them to corrupt and lead humans astray. God grants this request, allowing Mastema to continue to test humans with his permission. Mastema's role extends to various biblical narratives, though this is by tradition rather than direct reference. He is said to have counseled God to test Abraham by commanding him to sacrifice his son, Isaac, mirroring the role of Satan in the Book of Job. Additionally, Mastema is credited with aiding the Egyptians against Moses and attempting to kill him, as well as assisting Pharaoh's magicians in opposing Moses and Aaron. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, Mastema is referred to as the angel of disaster, the father of all evil, and a flatterer of God. These texts suggest that Mastema continues to operate under God's authority, executing divine judgments and testing human faith. Notably, some have argued that Mastema may be a specific name or title of Satan, or perhaps even a separate facet of Satan acting at different times and places. The argument that Mastema is a facet of Satan stems from their overlapping roles in testing humanity, fostering enmity, and carrying out divine punishments. While Mastema and Satan are distinct figures in some texts, their functions align closely. This suggests Mastema could represent an early or alternative conceptualization of Satan, particularly in Jewish traditions. Volak is recognized as a great president of hell, commanding 30 legions of spirits. He's renowned for his ability to reveal hidden treasures and locate snakes, delivering them harmlessly to those who summon him. Depictions of Volak often present him as a small boy with angelic wings, riding a two-headed dragon. This imagery juxtaposes innocence with demonic power, highlighting his deceptive nature. The two-headed dragon symbolizes his dominion over serpents and hidden knowledge. He provides true answers about hidden matters, offering insights into past, present, and future events. This makes him a sought-after entity for those seeking esoteric knowledge. Despite his childlike appearance, Volak is considered one of the oldest and strongest demons, capable of leading individuals to their doom if not approached with caution. Baal is a key figure in demonology and in Christian demonological traditions, and in occult circles he's considered one of the kings of hell. The name Baal is derived from Baal, a term used in the ancient Near East to refer to local deities or lords. In Canaanite religion, Baal was a title for storm and fertility gods, such as Baal Hadad, who played pivotal roles in regional mythologies. Over time, these pagan deities became demonized in Jewish and Christian narratives, particularly during the early development of monotheism, as the religions sought to vilify rival gods. Baal's transformation from deity to demon reflects this historical and theological evolution. Early Jewish texts depict Baal worship as idolatry, with the prophet Elijah famously challenging Baal's prophets on Mount Carmel. By the medieval period, Baal had been fully incorporated into Christian demonology. By the Renaissance, demonological texts began cataloging demons systematically, and Baal emerged as a distinct figure. In the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum by Johann Weyer, he's described as a king ruling over 66 legions of demons. The Dictionnaire Infernal by Jacques Collin de Plancy further elaborated on Baal's attributes, solidifying his portrayal in Western demonology. Baal is famously described as having 3 heads: a man, a cat, and a toad. Each head is said to symbolize a unique aspect of his dominion. The human head represents intellect and cunning, while the cat's head reflects stealth and agility. The toad's head symbolizes corruption, further emphasizing his malevolent nature. This tri-headed depiction highlights Baal's multifaceted and deceptive character, portraying him as a figure capable of influencing various realms of existence. Some traditions depict Baal with his 3 heads mounted on a set of spider legs, enhancing his terrifying and unnatural form. The spider-like qualities align with his reputation for entrapment and manipulation, much like a predator weaving a web to ensnare prey. Baal is most commonly associated with the power to render individuals invisible. This ability made him a frequent subject of interest for those seeking to escape detection or manipulate their surroundings undetected. The art of invisibility is referenced across multiple grimoires, highlighting his role in teaching hidden knowledge to mortals. His influence is thought to extend to intellectual pursuits, offering insights and knowledge to those who invoke him. Baal's origins as a deity turned demon reflect broader cultural and religious themes of the ancient world. His demonization is emblematic of the shift from polytheism to monotheism, where once revered gods were recast as symbols of malevolence and opposition. Gushun holds the title of Great Duke of Hell and commands 40 legions of demons. He's renowned for his ability to reveal past, present, and future events, offering profound insights into various matters. Additionally, Gusion is known to reconcile friendships and bestow honor and dignity upon individuals. Depictions of Gusion's appearance vary across sources. Some describe him as a cynocephalus, a creature with a human body and the head of a dog. Others portray him as a baboon, emphasizing his animalistic features. Beyond his divinatory abilities, Gusion is adept at resolving conflicts and restoring harmony among individuals. His diplomatic skills make him a valuable mediator in disputes, facilitating reconciliation and fostering peaceful relations. Moreover, Gusion possesses the power to elevate one's social standing, granting honor and dignity to those who seek his favor. The Sworn Book of Honorius is a medieval grimoire attributed to Honorius of Thebes. It's considered one of the oldest and most influential grimoires in European magical tradition. The text is believed to have been composed in the 13th century, though its exact origins remain uncertain. The grimoire is structured into 93 chapters, covering a wide array of topics. It provides instructions on conjuring and commanding demons, performing various magical operations, and gaining knowledge of celestial realms. Notably, it includes rituals aimed at saving one's soul from purgatory, catching thieves, and finding treasures. The text emphasizes the importance of proper ritual procedures and the use of specific seals. A significant feature of the Sworn Book is the inclusion of the Seal of God, also known as the Sigillum Dei. This complex symbol is central to the grimoire's rituals and is believed to grant the practitioner the ability to command spirits and gain divine visions. The authorship of the Sworn Book is attributed to Honorius of Thebes, a figure shrouded in mystery. The text claims that Honorius was the son of Euclid, master of the Thebans, though no historical evidence supports this lineage. Some scholars suggest that Honorius of Thebes may be a mythical or symbolic figure rather than a historical person. Others claim that Honorius of Thebes may have been Pope Honorius I, a pope who reigned in the 7th century. Vipar is recognized as a great duke of hell commanding 29 legions of demons. He is often depicted as a merman, symbolizing his dominion over the seas. Vipar's powers are closely tied to water. At the conjurer's request, he can make the sea rough and stormy, and cause it to appear full of ships. Beyond his maritime control, Vipar possesses the ability to inflict severe physical ailments. He can make individuals die slowly through the spreading of sores. However, if requested by the conjurer, he can heal these afflictions immediately. This dual capacity for harm and healing highlights his complex nature. In summoning practices, Vipar is considered approachable and amicable towards the conjurer. He is known to provide an aura of lightness during rituals, leaving the conjurer with a happy and lifted feeling. The Greater Key of Solomon is one of the most well-known grimoires in Western occult tradition. Notably, in modern times, it's much less well-known than the Lesser Key of Solomon, which contains many of the demons discussed in this video. Despite its association with King Solomon, scholars generally agree that it originated in the 14th or 15th century during the Italian Renaissance. This text reflects the era's fascination with esotericism and ceremonial magic, blending Christian, Jewish, and pre-Christian Greco-Roman influences. The grimoire is divided into two primary books. The first focuses on summoning and commanding spirits, offering instructions on invocations, prayers, and rituals. These rituals are elaborate and require significant preparation, including purification processes for the practitioner. Practitioners are directed to maintain physical and spiritual purity, emphasizing the importance of discipline and focus in working with spiritual entities. The second book details the construction and use of magical tools such as pentacles, swords, and wands. It explains the materials and techniques for crafting these objects and stresses the importance of timing, aligning their creation with specific astrological conditions. Each tool is inscribed with symbols and names of power, believed to imbue the items with the ability to control or direct spirits. The careful attention to these tools highlights the grimoire's systematic approach to magic. The rituals described in the Greater Key of Solomon often involve invoking divine names and commanding spirits to perform tasks or share knowledge. The practitioner is portrayed as a figure who, through purity and faith, has the authority to wield power over these entities. This perspective aligns with the medieval Christian worldview, where divine authority superseded all other powers. Despite being attributed to King Solomon, there is no historical evidence connecting him to the text. Solomon's biblical reputation as a wise king with command over spirits likely inspired the association. In Jewish folklore, Solomon is credited with controlling demons to build the temple in Jerusalem, a narrative that influenced later Christian magical traditions. By attributing the grimoire to Solomon, the authors lent it an air of authority and mystique, as we have seen numerous times throughout this series. The text has survived in various manuscripts and translations. One of the most influential modern versions was translated by S. L. MacGregor Mathers, a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, in the late 19th century. Mathers' translation became a cornerstone of modern Western occultism, shaping the practices of groups like the Golden Dawn and influencing figures like Aleister Crowley. Today, the text remains a key resource for ceremonial magicians and occult enthusiasts. Dantalion is a powerful Duke of Hell commanding 36 legions of spirits. He possesses profound abilities related to knowledge, influence, and mind reading. Dantalion can reveal hidden knowledge and secrets, making him a go-to figure for those seeking to uncover the truth behind mysteries. He has the power to perceive the thoughts and intentions of others, providing deep insights into people's desires and motives. Additionally, Dantalion can influence and control the thoughts and feelings of individuals, making him a potent figure in situations requiring persuasion or mental manipulation. Some sources describe him as having multiple faces or heads, representing his comprehensive knowledge and insight into various aspects of thought and behavior. Dantalion's abilities extend to teaching all arts and sciences, and he can declare the secret counsel of anyone, given that he knows the thoughts of all people and can change them at his will. His mastery over thoughts, emotion, and perceptions allows him to influence the hearts of others, making him a powerful ally in matters requiring persuasion and emotional depth. In modern occult practices, Dantalion is often invoked by practitioners who seek a deeper understanding of human psychology. According to demonologists, rituals involving Dantalion should be approached with caution and ethical consideration, given his potent ability to alter thoughts and emotions. In Gnostic cosmology, archons are malevolent entities that govern the material world, acting as obstacles to spiritual enlightenment. The term archon derives from a Greek term of the exact same name meaning ruler or authority. These beings are often depicted as the creators and overseers of the physical universe, enforcing ignorance and preventing souls from attaining gnosis, knowledge of the divine realm. Central to Gnostic belief is the concept of the demiurge, a subordinate deity responsible for the creation of the material world. This entity is often identified with the God of the Old Testament and is considered ignorant or malevolent. The archons serve the demiurge, named Yaldabaoth, assisting in the construction and maintenance of the physical realm. They are typically associated with the 7 classical planets: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon, each governed by a specific archon. This planetary association reflects the archon's roles in influencing human destiny and maintaining the soul's entrapment within the material world. The hypostasis of the archons, a Gnostic text from the Nag Hammadi library, provides a detailed account of these entities. It describes the archons as androgynous beings, with faces resembling beasts, highlighting their corrupt and deceptive nature. Their leader, Yaldabaoth, is portrayed as a lion-faced serpent, embodying arrogance and ignorance. Yaldabaoth's proclamation, "I am God and there is no other God beside me," is said to exemplify his delusion and his lack of awareness of the true transcendent God. According to this belief, Jesus Christ represents the true universal transcendent God sent to earth, explaining the significantly different teachings of Jesus from the God of the Old Testament. Gnostic teachings emphasize that the material world, crafted by the archons, is inherently flawed and a source of suffering. Human souls, considered divine sparks, are trapped within physical bodies, subjected to the archons' control. Salvation, according to Gnostic belief, involves transcending the material realm by acquiring gnosis. This esoteric knowledge enables individuals to recognize their divine origin and navigate past the archons, ultimately reuniting with the true God. The archons' influence extends to human thoughts and behaviors. They are believed to instill ignorance, fear, and material desires, diverting souls from spiritual awakening. By manipulating human consciousness, the archons maintain their dominion over the material world, ensuring that souls remain ensnared in the cycle of birth and rebirth. Orcus, a figure from Roman and Etruscan mythology, serves as a powerful representation of the underworld and divine justice. As a god associated with death, Orcus was tasked with punishing oath-breakers and those who violated sacred vows. The origins of Orcus trace back to the Etruscans, who held significant influence over early Roman religious practices. Etruscan mythology, which predates much of Roman belief, contributed several key deities and concepts to the Roman pantheon. Descriptions of Orcus's appearance are sparse in Roman sources, but surviving depictions from art and related myths paint him as a fearsome, imposing figure. Some accounts describe Orcus as a hairy, bearded giant, a form that reinforces his power and dominance over the dead. Over time, Orcus's identity merged with other underworld deities in the Roman pantheon, reflecting the syncretic nature of Roman religion. Dis Pater, originally a god of wealth and the underworld, and Pluto, a direct Roman counterpart to the Greek Hades, both absorbed attributes of Orcus. During the Middle Ages, Orcus became linked to the broader archetype of infernal spirits. His name, or variations of it, appeared in texts and folklore as a generic term for hellish creatures. The term orc, derived from Orcus, evolved in medieval languages to signify monstrous beings, further cementing his association with demonic imagery. Medieval bestiaries and literary works sometimes used orcs, or orc-like beings, to describe agents of chaos and evil, reinforcing the connection between Orcus and the infernal realm. Johann Weyer's De Praestigiis Daemonum, translated as On the Tricks of Demons, is a seminal 1563 work that challenged prevailing beliefs about witchcraft and demonology. Weyer, a physician and former student of the renowned humanist Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, approached the subject from a medical and psychological perspective. He argued that alleged witches were not in league with the devil, but were instead suffering from mental illnesses. In the 16th century, Europe was gripped by a fervent belief in witchcraft, leading to widespread persecution of those accused. The Malleus Maleficarum, published in 1487, served as a manual for identifying and prosecuting witches, reinforcing the notion that witchcraft was a real and present danger. Weyer, however, contested this view. Drawing from his medical background, he posited that many accused witches were individuals suffering from mental disorders, not agents of Satan. He criticized the methods used to extract confessions, noting that torture often led to false admissions. Weyr's arguments were grounded in his observations as a physician, where he recognized symptoms of mental illness in those accused of witchcraft. De Prestigiis Daemonum is meticulously organized into 5 books, each addressing different facets of demonology and witchcraft. The first book delves into the nature of demons and their supposed interactions with humans. Weyer argues that many reported demonic encounters are the result of natural causes or psychological disturbances. The second book examines the practices of magicians and sorcerers, suggesting that their alleged powers are either fraudulent or misunderstood natural phenomena. In the third book, Weyer discusses the various types of spirits and their classifications, drawing from earlier works, but often providing a more skeptical interpretation. The fourth book is particularly notable for its appendix, the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, which lists demons and their supposed hierarchies. Most scholars agree that Weyer includes this not to endorse the information, but to expose the absurdity of such beliefs. Notably, despite this, the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum became a cornerstone of demonology in the early modern period. The final book addresses the treatment of those accused of witchcraft, advocating for compassion and medical care rather than punishment. Weyer's work was met with mixed reactions. While some contemporaries appreciated his rational approach, others criticized him for undermining the efforts to combat witchcraft. Some accused him of being in league with the devil himself, given that his work was seen as providing cover for individuals associated with witchcraft and who had even confessed. Hecate is a mysterious figure in Greek mythology, revered and feared for her connection to the underworld, witchcraft, magic, and the supernatural. Although her exact origins are debated, she is often described as the daughter of the Titans, Perses, and Asteria, a lineage that gave her some dominion over the heavens, earth, and sea. Unlike many Titans, Hecate retained her powers under the reign of Zeus, signifying her enduring authority across different realms. What sets Hecate apart from other deities is her role at the crossroads, both literally and symbolically. She was frequently depicted as a three-faced goddess, representing her ability to see the past, present, and future, or as a figure standing at the junction of life and death, the physical and spiritual worlds. This triple form, which later associated her with other goddesses like Persephone and Demeter, emphasized her power over transitions and boundaries. Her presence at crossroads made her a protector of travelers, but more ominously, also a guardian of the dead. In fact, ancient Greeks placed statues of Hecate at the entrance of homes and cities to ward off evil spirits. Hecate's connection to the underworld is a core aspect of her identity. One of the most famous myths involving Hecate is her participation in the abduction of Persephone. While other gods watched passively, Hecate helped Demeter search for her daughter. After Persephone's descent into the underworld, Hecate remained her guide and companion, further solidifying her role as an underworld-related deity. One of the more intriguing elements of Hecate's mythos is her association with witchcraft. She was a goddess of spells and all magic, and in particular necromancy. Her symbols reflect this dark mysticism, including the key, representing her control over the boundary between the living and the dead, torches, for lighting the way through the darkness, and serpents. While Hecate is generally not directly summoned by demonologists, she is revered as a symbol of dark wisdom. In Gnostic traditions, Sophia, whose name means wisdom in Greek, is a central figure embodying both divine wisdom and the human soul's journey. She represents a feminine aspect of the divine, often depicted as the female counterpart of Jesus Christ, and is sometimes identified with the Holy Spirit. Gnostic cosmology typically begins with an unknowable, supreme God, from whom emanate various divine beings known as aeons. Sophia is considered the last and lowest of these aeons. Her narrative is pivotal in explaining the creation of the material world and the human condition. According to Gnostic myth, Sophia, driven by a desire to know the supreme God, acts independently, without her male counterpart, or the consent of the divine fullness. This unauthorized action leads to her fall from the pleroma, and results in the birth of a flawed being, the demiurge Yaldabaoth, often identified with the God of the Old Testament. The demiurge, ignorant of his origins, creates the material world, which is seen as a distorted reflection of the divine realm. Sophia's fall is not just a cosmic event, but also a reflection of the human soul's entrapment in the material world. Her story symbolizes the soul's descent into ignorance and its potential for redemption through gnosis, or esoteric knowledge. Gnostics believe that by attaining this knowledge, individuals can transcend the material realm and return to the divine source. The narrative of Sophia varies among different Gnostic sects. In most accounts, she is depicted as the mother of the demiurge, while in others, she is portrayed as making the demiurge into a consort of her own creation. Despite these variations, her role as a mediator between the divine and material worlds remains consistent. Sophia's story also highlights the Gnostic view of the material world as inherently flawed. The creation of the world by the demiurge, a being born out of Sophia's error, underscores the belief that the physical realm is a deviation from the divine order. This perspective contrasts sharply with Orthodox Christian views, which see the material world as God's intentional and good creation. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy stands as a cornerstone in Western esoteric literature. Published in 1533, this comprehensive work delves into the realms of natural magic, astrology, and divine mysteries, reflecting the Renaissance's fervent quest to harmonize science with mysticism. Agrippa, a German polymath born in 1486, was deeply immersed in the intellectual currents of his time. His engagement with Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and Neoplatonism is evident throughout his writings. The 3 books of occult philosophy emerged during a period when Europe was experiencing a resurgence of interest in ancient wisdom and esoteric traditions. This era, marked by the Renaissance, saw scholars striving to reconcile classical knowledge with contemporary thought. The treatise is divided into 3 distinct books, each addressing different facets of what was then defined as occult philosophy. The first book explores the natural world, emphasizing the hidden properties of elements, plants, animals, and minerals. Agrippa discusses how these natural objects possess inherent virtues that can be harnessed through proper understanding and application. He delves into the 4 elements, earth, water, air, and fire, and their corresponding qualities, asserting that a deep comprehension of these elements is essential for practicing natural magic. The second book transitions to the influence of celestial bodies on the terrestrial realm. Agrippa examines the astrological correspondences between planets, stars, and earthly events. He elaborates on how the positions and movements of celestial bodies can affect human affairs, weather patterns, and natural phenomena. This section underscores the belief that the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the individual, are interconnected. The third book delves into the realm of ceremonial or ritual magic. Agrippa provides insights into the invocation of spirits, the use of talismans, and the performance of rituals to achieve specific outcomes. He emphasizes the importance of purity, intention, and adherence to specific protocols when engaging in such practices. This book reflects the synthesis of various esoteric traditions, including Kabbalistic and Hermetic teachings. Agrippa significantly influenced subsequent esoteric and magical traditions. The work's integration of various esoteric disciplines provided a framework that many later practitioners built upon. Despite its acclaim, Agrippa's work was not without controversy. The Catholic Church, wary of the potential heretical implications of such esoteric writings, scrutinized and often condemned works on magic and the occult. Agrippa himself faced criticism and suspicion, leading to periods of hardship and persecution. His writings were included in the Church's Index of Forbidden Books, reflecting the tension between emerging Renaissance humanism and established religious orthodoxy. An egregore is a concept in Western occultism referring to an autonomous psychic entity created by a collective group mind. These entities are sustained by the shared beliefs, rituals, and sacrifices of a group, ranging from small covens to entire nations. When an egregore receives sufficient sustenance, it can take on a life of its own, becoming an independent deity with powers its believers can use to further their own spiritual advancement. The concept of egregores has roots in ancient civilizations. In classical Greece and Rome, they were consciously called into being to watch over city-states. These entities were believed to influence the destiny of the communities that created them. Over time, the understanding of egregores evolved, permeating various Western mystery traditions, including the Corpus Hermeticum. In these traditions, egregores were seen as powerful forces that could be harnessed for spiritual growth, or, conversely, could become parasitic and destructive if not properly managed. Modern esoteric orders such as Rosicrucianism have incorporated the concept of egregores into their practices. These groups recognize that collective rituals and focused intentions can create powerful psychic entities that influence both individual members and the group as a whole. Recognizing the presence of one of these entities involves observing the collective behaviors and beliefs within a group. Signs include a strong, unified focus on specific symbols or rituals and a sense of an autonomous presence influencing the group's actions. To manage or dissolve an egregore, it's essential to withdraw the collective energy that sustains it. This can be achieved by ceasing the rituals and beliefs that feed the entity, thereby allowing it to dissipate over time. While egregores can serve as tools for collective empowerment, they also pose risks to personal autonomy. Individuals may find their thoughts and actions subtly influenced by the egregore, leading to a loss of personal agency. It's crucial for individuals to remain aware of these influences and take steps to maintain their autonomy, such as critically evaluating group beliefs and practices. Demonic possession is a topic found within many occult traditions and refers to the belief that an external spirit or entity, often malevolent, takes control of an individual's body and mind. Throughout history, numerous cultures have recognized phenomena akin to demonic possession. In ancient Mesopotamia, for instance, ailments and psychological disturbances were frequently attributed to malevolent spirits. Similarly, in ancient Greece, the concept of daimones encompassed both benevolent and malevolent entities believed to influence human behavior. In medieval Europe, the Christian Church's interpretation of possession was predominantly demonic, leading to numerous exorcisms as well as witch hunts. Religious and occult traditions worldwide show remarkable similarities in signs and symptoms of demonic possession. One of the most commonly reported signs is unusual physical strength. Individuals believed to be possessed are said to exhibit strength that far exceeds their natural capacity. Cases from historical and contemporary accounts describe people, often of modest build, performing feats that would typically require far greater physical power. This phenomenon is especially unsettling for witnesses and is frequently interpreted as evidence of an external entity taking control of the body. Those who report witnessing such strength describe the event as something that defies normal human limitations, suggesting an unnatural influence at work. Another prominent sign of possession is an aversion to sacred objects, particularly religious symbols like crosses, holy water, or scripture. In numerous reports, possessed individuals display strong, even violent, reactions to these objects. This aversion is often accompanied by expressions of fear, aggression, or disgust, leading many to conclude that a malevolent entity inhabits the individual and recoils from items representing goodness. Possession cases sometimes feature instances where the affected individual speaks languages unknown to them. Often termed xenoglossy, this phenomenon involves a person suddenly articulating phrases or entire conversations in a foreign language they've never studied or encountered before. This is particularly disturbing to observers, as it seems to reveal knowledge that the person could not have acquired through natural means. In the Christian context, reports of xenoglossy during possession generally include use of ancient languages like Latin, Ancient Greek, or Aramaic. Personality shifts are also observed, where an ordinarily gentle individual may exhibit aggressive, hostile, or blasphemous behavior. This change can seem so drastic that it appears as if another consciousness has taken over, with the original personality entirely suppressed. However, these signs aren't universally accepted as evidence of possession. Many skeptics and mental health professionals argue that these symptoms can stem from psychological or neurological disorders rather than an external spirit or entity. Conditions such as dissociative identity disorder, psychosis, or epilepsy can produce behaviors that mimic possession symptoms, including personality shifts and language disturbances. Psychological explanations suggest that individuals displaying signs of possession may be experiencing an intense mental health crisis rather than a supernatural event. Exorcism, the act of expelling a possessing entity, varies across cultures. In Christian traditions, it generally involves invoking the name of Jesus Christ to command the demon to depart and citing passages where Jesus combated demonic entities spiritually. If you like this video, please do me a huge favor and click like and subscribe, and also click the share button and send it to anyone who you think may enjoy it. Also, huge shout out to all my patrons and YouTube members. You guys help make it possible for me to devote so much of my time to content creation.